So here it is, the Matador Arms MAT9 roller delay. Now this is the 5-inch K model, which is, more my speed for sure. I like the little short stubby guys. Now what's interesting about this is now their roller delay. If you've watched my other videos, we have the Strybog, we have the Kuna, shooting some MP5s, things like that. I've really been messing with the PCCs that are roller delayed lately, and this one is pretty sweet. Now this is bringing some new features to the game that some of the other companies have not quite accomplished. So this is actually our first range trip, first few mags, no fluff, just straight up what we get starting out. Now, I can't give you a full review right off the bat because I haven't got enough rounds through it. So as we go, we'll shoot more and more ammo, and then different videos will come out to describe different stages of my experiences with it. But so far, let's go over some of the basic details and why I am very excited about this, even though I already have several other PCCs. So first, let's talk about some of the key things that make the MAT9 different from all of the other PCCs on the market. Now, the biggest thing for me is that the largest debate with PCCs seems to be mags. A lot of drama with Strybog mags in the past. Some people like to use Glock mags. The Kuna's mags are basically awful and all that. Now, where the Matador comes in is you can get it in different lowers. If I can remember them all, it is Glock, SIG P320, the Stenson tube bag in the front for 50 rounds, HK MP5 mags, let's see here, Colt PCC mags, and then there's also Scorpion coming soon if it's not already out. So you have all these different options. So the mag debate of all the different PCCs, the Matador basically takes the cake because you can use whatever you want. Now, that being said, today we're using the Glock mag version. So if you're running a Glock as well, you can use the benefit of using mags for both. Does not work for me. I'm running an Armazika today, the AZP1, so I will not be using Glock mags in my sidearm, but that's the main draw of using Glock mags. These Glock mags are actually from Rattlesnake Tactical. Pretty sweet. They're only around, $5, something like that. So pretty cool deal for 34 round mags. So yeah, good stuff. Now, other details we have are, this is roller delayed, which is the big thing. It is using almost an identical system to the Strybog and Kuna, but it is way lightweight. This is only about 3.1 pounds, something like that. Very, very light. I mean, without the brace, you could basically use this as a pistol, which is pretty funny. Some other details that are really sweet about it are that this is a 5-inch, but they already make their own handguard extension. I believe there's one where it's big enough for the suppressor to be underneath the handguard, so you can have real short operation, extend your handguard, put your can under that, your night vision equipment over top. Very cool. Back has a pick rail right off the bat. Now, here's something interesting, if I have an empty one on me. For being a Glock mag PCC, last round bolt hole open. Now for all those different mags we talked about, I think the only one that doesn't lock back is the HK MP5 mags, because that's just how MP5s be. So that's one feature there. You have an ambi, if you get there lower, you have an ambi mag release on both sides, as well as your safety. Now this takes AR-15 safeties and triggers. As far as FRTs and super safes, there's stuff like that in the works. So that might be an option down the road. It could even be now, and I just haven't read it, but very interesting. Side note, it's like 95 degrees here and it's humid as Florida. So I'm dying out here, but it's worth it. It's worth it to test out this bad boy, to be honest. On that note, this shirt I'm wearing with long sleeves is actually my own tactical flannel prototype. I got a nicer version coming soon with a different pattern, much nicer materials, very lightweight for hot weather, stuff like that. If you're interested in that, check out my email list on my website through the link in the description, and you can get notified when these guys come out because they're going to be pretty cool and they're going to be very high quality. Another feature, back to the lowers here. So they have their own lowers that have the features as mentioned before, and on top of that, you can actually use any AR-15 lower on the market, and you can use a mag insert to be able to use Glock mags. You could also use like a main arms, which uses kind of the profile of a 5.56 mag, which for 9mm. You can really adjust this to your cost. If you need to cut costs, you can absolutely just get the upper and build your own out of it. But to be honest, I really do think this lower is worth it. It's very well made, as you can see. The mag well is extremely flared. It is no problem at all there. And I would highly recommend their lower, to be completely honest with you. But if you're on a budget, which a lot of us are, that's an option that you can use what you've already got. Now some questions. How does it shoot? Well, let's just put a couple rounds through it, like we saw in the beginning. There she goes. You can check out the recoil. Not bad. I'm not bracing up on it that tight either. That's just kind of holding, just lightly holding it. If I really brace up on it like it's gonna be full auto, not too shabby. The mil-spec AR trigger is not my favorite, but the thing is, it's a mil-spec for AR, so still 10 for 10 as far as triggers go, but I do feel it holding me back. Pretty cool there. Now, the charge handle is basically like a Strybog, just little textured nub there. I guess you could do something else, maybe a folding one, but I actually really like just these basic ones here. It is ambidextrous, so you can switch it to the other side as well, which is key. Another thing to note about these is that your rear grip is actually from Matador Arms as well, and I actually really like it. The first thing I usually do is throw away the factory grips and put on a Dai Frico Kung Fu grip. I love those, but this one's really nice. I mean, I think they honestly nailed it. I'll probably leave that one, but I will be getting a upgraded trigger and a different safety for sure. So back to how this bad boy shoots. We're just gonna run it a little bit, see how she goes. We'll say it does get a little bit hot. I mean, it is 95 degrees out here, but this little barrel nut bushing, something like that underneath, does get a little bit toasty, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's get a little shot timer here. Not too shabby. She runs pretty nice. So one of the Springfield Kuna's big issues was that running suppressed, it would get, the mags would get all gunked up. Now that's obviously not gonna be an issue, but even so, we're gonna test it out shooting suppressed. This is a RR Weapons Exordium 9S. Little short stubby can. Honestly, pretty nice for maybe like a little PDW setup. I actually really like this thing. Now this is additive manufacturing, kind of like a fancy 3D printing if you're not familiar. I do have some subsonics here from Freedom Munitions we'll try out just to see the difference and how she recoils, or if she even cycles. We'll find out. So check this out here. Oh, that's pretty good. It's a bit of a pain. It's so freaking hot out that the my camera keeps overheating and shutting down, so I'll try to move quick. Here's the subsonics once again with my RR can. Okay, so recoil, let's talk about that, even with the cannon stuff. When I'm shooting, where I'm aiming in a little spot there, my red dot is not even leaving it. This thing, if I'm gonna compare it to an MP5, I would say blows the MP5 away recoil-wise. Definitely better than the Kuna, on par with the Strybog. It's a close toss-up. I'll have to shoot them side by side and set them up the same way to remove some variables. But I will say, this is pretty dang exciting. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, camera survived, that's always good. So looking a little closer here, kind of the fit and finish, you can tell these guys did a really good job building this. The machining, it's all really crisp and clean. You don't see any milling marks anywhere. The finish is awesome, and I'm really happy with it. This is one of the higher quality PCCs that I have shot, and I do love the Strybog. I'm not a fan of the Kuna. I do love the Strybog, and this is definitely gonna give it a run for its money. Now, something to note is that this is much lighter than any of the other PCCs that I've been firing. It's kind of epic, really, because once you set this up with lights, aiming lasers, all that stuff, it's still going to be pretty light even with the can, which is a huge bonus. Something else to keep in mind here, I'm actually running the Gideon Optics Granite. This is actually a pistol optic, and it is stinking huge. I'm a huge fan of this thing. It's a little weird looking. You have your battery on the side, but you're able to get this in a couple different optic cuts, and it's pretty awesome because it works great on PCC style guns as well as like competition pistols, things like that. Good stuff there. So as far as the features goes, I guess there's not too much more to say, mainly because they seem to have nailed it. You have a full top pick rail. You pick rail in the rear right off the bat, so you can basically pick any brace you want on the market. Basically any of the major mags that you're gonna wanna use. Most stuff is ambidextrous. You can use your regular lowers or their lower. I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's very impressive. I mean, we're back here. This thing is getting a little crapping hot. I might need a cover for that. But this Matador MAT9, especially for this first range trip, is running really well. I mean, I'm having no issues, as you can see. It's just running like a champ. I'm shooting dirty reman ammo, nothing fancy or factory even. Just filthy ammo, and it's eating everything up. It's run suppressed, unsuppressed. I'm a few hundred rounds in. This thing's money. I mean, I can't wait to dig in more, and I'll keep you guys updated. But this MAT9 roller delay is going to be a problem. We're all going to need these. Absolutely. So I want to show this RR Weapons Exordium 9 again with subsonics and then supersonics. And then I want to tell you something about these mags from Rattlesnake that I think is kind of important to know. So here's 5 rounds of subsonic. There's that. Here's 5 rounds of supersonic. Not too shabby. Now, what I want to talk about. One thing I will say about these Rattlesnake mags is that some Glock mags have, like here's a Magpul one, they don't have a cutout in this little corner here. These ones also did not, and the Magpul, I mean not the Magpul, the Glock brand ones do. That activates your bolt catch on these. So if you don't have that cut out, it will actually lock back on your second to last round. So if you end up getting any of these, because they're dirt cheap and they're 34 rounds, you just gotta take a Dremel and buzz that back, then it works fine. A few people had asked beforehand if this was gassy with the suppressor. So here's some, actually these might be 147s. This may not be the best illustration, but that's all I got left here. So you can kind of pay attention to the port here. I'll kind of watch it as well. So, the joys of reman ammo. So I will say, I don't feel any gas at all, and this is a full back pressure can. RR Weapons usually has like 0 back pressure cans. They're really good. This is actually one of their full back pressure lines. And I don't really feel anything. So not too shabby. As far as gas goes, I'm not experiencing anything like that. It seems like it's a pretty well sealed system. So I gotta say, I fully expected this to give me a little bit of trouble. I really did, because it's new. It's a Gen 1. A lot of companies butcher Gen 1 pretty bad. I think I have a bad reputation forever. This one seems to be working quite well. And like, as you can see, it's just running how we'd like it to. I will say my handguard's getting freaking hot, but it is 95 out. So I'll do a couple little drills here, something more legitimate. All right, that was 1.48. We'll do 2 and 2. Slow, that was 2 seconds. Let's try again. 1.55. We're staying in pretty much A zone, a couple of Charlies here and there, but ultimately it's going pretty fast. Let's do a couple of low readies. 0.7. 0.52. I'm a little faster. A couple of high readies. 0.8. 0.79. Runs pretty nice. I mean, I've only been shooting it for 1 day and it seems to be coming very smooth for me. Let's do a little, we'll just dump the rest here, then we'll do a little transition to pistol. This is the Armazika AZP one. I'm obsessed with this thing. It's an incredible race pistol. Review for that coming soon as well. Woo! I must say, that suppressor just torched the living crap out of my leg. Mother of pearl, that's hot.